Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's that time again. I read you a couple more poems from my book, A Patriot's Journey, Forging Hope. And today, a couple of my poems. One is called Solo, and I actually got inspired from a different poem. You'll see why when I read it. But today is kind of a semi religious day because I'm religious, so I believe in God and believe God plays a very important role in our lives. Um, and without Him, there could be no you. But so I'll read this poem. It says, I'm starting a new journey with a new ride. I can't help but wonder if God is still by my side. It seems like He left me so long ago. The evil consumed me and it's beginning to show. I used to enjoy life. I was surrounded by peace and love. I am short tempered now, so I might just give you a push or a shove. I hate being near people and having them around. I'm more comfortable burying them in the ground. God knows our hearts and has a plan. I just wish I could make my brain understand. Why do things need to go my way so I do not get rough? All the battles fought shaped and molded me into something tough. I feel like I'm walking alone in the freezing cold. I'm just wondering if I'll ever make it to getting old. As I look, I see a single set of tracks shown in the sand, wondering who will help me, why no one took my hand. You look lost, confused, and just don't know what to do. Remember to pray to God because He's never left you. And that was kind of off the poem Trails in the Sand. And it just kind of shows one footprint and then it goes back to two. And, the guy is just kind of saying, hey, uh, why'd you leave me during the toughest times? And, that was God saying, no, that was me carrying you. And um, that was kind of the epiphany I was having is, when I'm struggling, um, it's like, is there anybody there with me? Everybody's there at your highs. Everybody's there when you're winning and when everything's going great. And, they're always celebrating, good things. But as soon as those good things take a wrong turn and now you're hurting, who's really there for you? All those people that said, oh, I'll be there for you no matter what. Are they really there? And you'll learn real fast that most of the people that say they will be aren't. And there's some that's still there. Um, but the majority are going to be gone, and they're only going to be there for you during your good times. And this in turn can actually hinder a lot of your progress of getting better because you thought that you had all these people supporting you, and really you look back and it was only the true people, your family, that was there. And so it's kind of a lonely feeling, and that's why it's called solo, because so often you feel like you're doing everything alone. And then on top of that, though, is since you know that you're having these, say, anger issues or outbursts, and you don't want to put your family through them, so you try to push them away. And, which means you're going to have to start doing more things by yourself. But you rather suffer alone in silence than force them to be a part of it and have them feel like they're unloved, unappreciated, or you don't want them around. Because that's all you're gonna do anyways. You're gonna explode, say something stupid, make them feel worthless just to get them away from you, and then, but at the same time, you want them near you. So you're kind of pulling them close, but pushing them away at the same time. And I could see that where people can get confused by that, especially by that contradiction. Is you know you pull me close just to beat me down, like why? Why even have me around then if that's all you're gonna do? And it's a confusing time not only for the person with PTSD but the people in their lives. And I have an added bonus of having a TBI, so it makes a lot of my um, thoughts and remembering things a lot more difficult. I can remember stuff from the past, but a lot affects more of my short term memory. So if I'm not paying attention, or if I'm not paying you like undivided attention and looking at you and hearing what you're saying, chances are I'm not gonna remember what you said, or even that we talked for that matter. Um, Case in point, my wife was we went somewhere with our family friends, and there I see a bunch of pictures with the girls and her and with my friends and the other family, and I'm like, oh man, that's cool. When did you guys see them? Like that was awesome, and I'm glad you guys were able to run into them. And she goes, what are you talking about? I said, hey, these people, the Olsons, I'm glad you got to hang out with them. And she's like, you were there. And then all of a sudden she turns the page in the photo album, and there I am too. But I had no recollection of that trip or even being there or even seeing them. And so you're kind of facing all these things from different angles, and you're trying to figure things out. And for a lot of things, patience is key. But some things you do have to do yourself before your own family is involved. Because if you don't get a handle on stuff, especially anger, because that's the most prevalent, um, I guess, side effect, if that's what you want to call it, of PTSD is anger. It's just every little thing, it just sets you off. And if you don't want to expose your family to that, because that's not the appropriate behavior and that's not how people should be treated, and but at the same time, some other things are harder to go through by yourself, and that's where depression can kick in. So it's like, man, if they're around, then they're gonna get this. If they're not around, then you're gonna go through that, and you really gotta. It's sacrificed by everybody, and sometimes people are not strong enough to get through it and make it to the end together. Far too often do people end up in divorce because they just can't handle the situation and the anger and the frustration and uh, the lack of just remembering stuff. And it's just I can just see how it's difficult all the way around. And it's I tell my family all the time I'm sorry for the things that I say and do. Um, because it's never intentional. I never want to intentionally hurt my family. And if I do, it's always on accident. The next poem is called Crossroads. It says, why are people judging others based on the color of their skin? If they want to change something at home, it's where it must begin. Everyone is special and has something unique to show. It's up to you to choose it or which way to go. You can use your influence to lobby or change for good or bad. If it's used inappropriately, it could be really sad. Non traditional examples being set by young and the bold. The way they are driven to survive is to hate, is what is told. Organized religion is to gather to learn about God and to Jesus' love. People call it divine message because it comes from heaven above. It is hard to say you love people and seem to be holding them down. I think that's being a hypocrite. Just take a look around. Jesus died that we have a chance to be sin free while we live. No greater sacrifice could any man justifiably give. He loves us so much he is willing to endure such great pain. He prayed to his Father, he sweat blood, and it drenched him like rain. He volunteered for a one way mission he has to make complete. This is the battle of good versus evil, and Satan must he defeat. God looked at you and said he had paid the cost for my beloved Son. People will stand witness to the battle that he has won. I don't take for granted things that he did for me, or for you I have. The truth and a servant of the Lord I must be. Everyone deserves a chance to become sin free. I never want Jesus to suffer any more because of me. He gave up his life so we could choose our own destiny. And I wrote this because I was just all the craziness in the world today. Just with all these different racial groups and racial tensions and people not liking other people and this religion versus that religion, and to me that's just nuts. I mean, I just don't get how somebody can just sit there and be like, man, I'm just gonna hate that person because they got a better tan than me, or I'm gonna hate this, or I'm gonna hate that because of this or that reason. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. And one thing I started getting a lot from my wife is acts of kindness and doing kind things. Well, if everybody taught in their homes love, consideration, and kindness of others, half these problems wouldn't exist today. But it has to start in the home. These kids they learn from their parents and their families, um, and it just kind of saddens me that far too often that these little you see little kids all the time. They just see little kids and they just run and hug each other and just love each other, and they don't care who they are, and they just want to play with everybody at the playground and run around and just have a good old time. And yet the parents have such a hard time, like, even talking to each other, communicating. It's like, while their kids are playing, why couldn't you just walk over and talk to their parents? You know, and that's what I always try to do. Um, I try to live what I preach. Um, because the last thing I want to be, especially in front of my kids, is a hypocrite. Because I know if I ever did something and I said something to them, that they're gonna say, "Dad, you're being a hypocrite." Or back before they can actually use the word hypocrite, they called me a hypocrite. And it's kind of just like one of those things. It's like, oh man, like they're always watching. And they're little sponges, and um, so the message of love and kindness and consideration, you know, definitely goes far. And I, I do struggle with the kindness because I mean, I'm just not kind to everybody. Let's just face facts. I don't care what you are, who you are, whatever. I'm just mostly a prick, but I try not to be. Okay, I make an effort, but I struggle, and really low tolerance. But it's definitely one of those things where I struggle with, and I definitely work hard at trying to overcome, because the last thing I want is my kids, uh, you know, mirroring my poor behavior, and because I just believe in loving everybody. Everybody's special in God's eyes, so I'm not better than God by any means. So if He feels that way, then so should I, and that's the way I want to be, and that's the way I'm striving to be. And I really wished the world would see that too, and take up that mantle of kindness. And everybody just did that. If everybody just kind of did the whole kindness thing, not worried about who you are or what you did or where you came from, but just said, hey, my kind act for today is going to be this, and just everybody did kindness, and that's definitely a world I definitely love to live in. Um, but thank you for listening. Once again, I'm here to support you guys any way I can. I just want to thank you all for listening. I'm still working diligently on my volume 2, because I want it to be better than volume 1. I'm always striving for perfection. Volume 1 came out, and it was just to kind of see what was going on. It's all new to me, so I just no backspaces on life, so I didn't use any backspaces in the book. So that's why it's kind of written mistakes and everything. But I make mistakes, so it kind of fit perfectly. Um, but if you wanted to send me an email at forging hope poetry at gmail, I'll answer any questions you may have. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check out the book. That's about it. All right. God bless.